Hey guys, what up? It's Mystic here, and today we'll talk about how to run an effective CBRO team training and more team tips. But first, remember to join my Discord. The link will be in the description below. The training that you will be learning how to run will be organized and useful to your team's practice and overall skill together as a whole. A few ways to tell if your team training is not organized is if people are taking food breaks, taking phone calls, leaving mid-practice, or it's just scrimming. And even if it's just aim practice or bathroom breaks, these are all bad things in your training that will waste time and you won't gain any overall skill from it. If your player is doing these things, tell him to do it before or after the match, or your team can come together as a whole and do it all at once. So your team can go grab food at a certain time, so you all won't be wasting more time than needed. But these things should be done before and after the trainings. Same thing with bathroom breaks, water breaks, whatever you want. There's teams that lose up to 30 minutes of practice time out of their hour and 30 minutes. That means they have an hour instead of an hour and a half of practice time just because of bathroom breaks, food breaks, and water breaks. That is too much time. My suggestion for this is for the owner or captain or in-game leader to make a plan. So let's say the plan is like this. Come to the training at 5 p.m. EST. Come ready to train. First we will practice sight retakes. We will practice pushes. We will practice plays. We will practice CT side holds. We will go over the playbook. We will discuss for 5 more minutes what we did good, bad, and how we will improve. Maybe do a scrim with another team, and you'll repeat step 8 after the scrim. And step 11, that step is bathroom, food breaks, and water breaks. This is so you guys can do it after the training, and maybe do something after that so you guys aren't leaving mid-training and wasting time. Because wasting time will kill your team's training time, and will ruin the whole training. Now here is another tip for your team. This isn't training, but it's for your team in general. Practice one map per week. This means to practice one map per week and repeat this every week. So let's say the first week you're playing Cache or Cache. Someone told me it was Cache in my last video. And learn and memorize it and add it to your map pool. And after you practice all of the maps, you'll do this map again. And when you're practicing the other maps, you'll refresh over that map by discussing your plays for that map and things you can do in the map. And your 5 minutes, what you did good and bad, maybe make that 10 minutes so you can talk about refresh the maps. This is a problem that most teams have because they're only good at Dust 2 and Cache. They forget about Inferno. A lot of teams get destroyed because the better teams don't practice Inferno either, but they're better in overall skill. So if their team would just practice Inferno, they could probably beat that team in Inferno, being worse at individual skill. They would have beat that team. They get absolutely destroyed by teams that practice Inferno. I can't remember what the team was called, but they beat one of the higher up teams because they practiced Inferno, and like no one does. And Inferno is played very rarely, but if it's best 2 out of 3, Inferno's gonna get played. You can even vote on what maps you want to practice first. So let's say your team takes a vote. One person says Cache, another person says Cache, but only one person says Dust 2. Well, you're going to play Cache the first week and then Dust 2 the next week. And after 4 weeks, you will have 4 good maps in your map belt, or map pool, whatever you want to call it. And remember, go over the map playbooks after your trainings in that first 5, 10, 15 minutes on what you did good, bad, and how you improve. Step 3 is create a playbook. Playbooks keep your plays organized. Sorry about that. My recording just messed up, so I'm gonna have to repeat create a playbook. So playbooks are great. They organize where your plays are, and your team can look over them whenever they feel like it. This makes it so you have more plays and your team knows what they're going to do. So let's say you guys say 2B split A fake B or something like that. That sounds like a horrible play, but it's an example. Your team would know exactly what smokes to throw, what time to throw them, and how to do it. so your play is organized, and if something goes wrong, you can fall back to another play which your team knows how to do. And make sure everyone knows what to do and when to do it. If they don't, then don't use that play while they're playing for your team. If you do, it's going to ruin the whole play, because every single person in most plays has a spot to do, has something to do, and they need to know when and what spot to do it in. You can even make it a Google Docs, so everyone in your team can see it and edit it when you guys want to put in a new play. And revise your playbook at the end of your trainings for that map and some other maps if you want to refresh those maps. Step 4 is work on individual play. You always need to work on individual play. Let's say the team needs to do something, requires you to op-peek mid, but you can't pre-aim well. So this results in you dying, and it wasn't the play's fault, it was your fault. So that means sometimes you need to hop on CBRO matchmaking or pubs and work on your one-taps, pre-aiming. Also, don't be afraid to try to use spray patterns on someone. It's a pub. It's a pub. It doesn't matter. Learn your spray patterns there and not in a tournament. Have them down in the tournament, and your individual skill will be above what it was before, making you a better overall player. And if your team is practicing like I'm showing you guys how to do right now, your team can be a pretty good team. I'm not saying top tier, but I'm saying really good. Don't be afraid to call your teammates out is number 5. Give your team information about what they did wrong and what they could have done better. Let's say your team rushes B main when he's a CT and gets picked off. He was the only one holding B. Everyone else rushed mid so they can get behind the people at B, because let's say they didn't hear him A main, but your guy in in B heard him. Well, he pushes out and gets destroyed. He gets sprayed down by AKs. Well, that was his fault. And you need to tell him what he did wrong and how he could have done that better. Maybe you could tell him, hey man, why didn't you hold it more passive and maybe set up heaven after you hurt him so you can pick him off when they push up sight. That would have been a lot nicer than, you're so bad you suck. Like, come on. You gotta be good to your teammates so they don't feel discouraged and your morale is low. You gotta have your morale high. The higher your morale, the better you're gonna play, usually. So, that's kind of what you need to do when you want to call your teammates out. And number 6 is communication. Communication is important. Without communication, you'll not know when a player is, and where to pre-aim and where to pre-fire. Or what play to do. Or even what site the bomb is planted. And these important things you need to know. So there's always some communication tips for your team to memorize and start to use. Always call out if there's someone fork. You gotta say, yo, there's a guy fork. You gotta say it in a semi-loud voice so it won't scare your team and make it heard, make it recognized. So like, oh, there's a guy fork. Let's not push up there and let's pre-aim it or pre-fire it. Another important tip is to turn on push to talk so the comms aren't background noise and unimportant information. If your comms consist of you guys laughing, joking around, and you're losing the game, you should probably turn on push to talk. And another important tip is do not make your teammates ask what site or where to go or when to do something. That is your job to do it. Or where even a player is, that is still your job. Your job is to call out a player right when you see him. Don't wait until you're done shooting him or when you die. Call it out exactly when you see him. And that's it for our team tips and tricks. If you guys want to join my Discord, the link will be in the description below. It's really nice for people to join my Discord because it keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and we can talk and hang out and play some games together. And remember to subscribe, like, and comment. And I hope you guys enjoy my most recent videos. They will be on the screen here. I will see you guys later and peace.